All right, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to YDKB. Today, we're going to be breaking down the 5 biggest QBs that you must avoid in fantasy.
Number 1, we have Daniel Jones. He had a good year fantasy-wise last year, but it's just like they improved the receiving core, but a lot of what came in fantasy last year was from his rushing. At 700 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, but he only threw for 3,200 and 15 touchdowns. If you look at their offense, like, I don't know, if Saquon's not there, like, is there really that threat of the rush game? Like, because, I mean, they're just going to make Daniel Jones play quarterback. I mean, and you saw when the Giants beat the Vikings, but we all knew the Vikings were frauds last year. When you saw the Giants get to the second level, you just knew that they just weren't that team. And it's like when Daniel Jones gets into a shootout, he's not going to win.
That's like the exact way to put it. No, absolutely. And I'm with you where it's like, Daniel Jones is just, there's the upside, yeah, for sure, but it just, the risk is way higher than the upside with just the way the Giants are constructed.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, it's not. And for where he's projected to go, it's just not worth it.
The Giants are constructed to stay in games and fight. They're not constructed to blow teams out. And like, that's not what you're looking for in fantasy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and by staying in games, that means like bleeding the clock and like scoring and running on the ground, like beating a team's morale down, like by first down,
throwing to the flat, 3 yards.
Like
that really is the Giants.
So it's like, that's not what you want in fantasy, in my opinion. At least that's not what I want on my team. Next, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and with Kirk, you know, the consensus for me and Hunter was the same on this one. It's like, hey, look, Kirk had a great year last year, which is cool. We're not knocking it. Actually, it's the best fantasy year he's had in his career. However, Kirk is getting older, and just the offense is not getting really much better. Again, Vikings fans are kicking us right now. They're saying, well, Jordan Addison just got here yet. Again, you're going to have to hear me out. Receivers, like we said, you got to be patient. The production is not always just come in 1,000-yard type of receiver.
Yeah.
And again, behind him, it's KJ Osborne. I like KJ Osborne. It's not a world beater talent.
Jordan Addison.
No, that's what I was saying behind Jordan Addison. I'm saying,
my bad.
You're fine. But so that, and that's what I'm saying. So behind us, those 3 guys, they're not like a world beater talent out there.
No.
And Kirk is just, he's getting older. Realistically, and Kirk's not a guy with a ton of athleticism.
He's not running for anything.
He's getting older quicker. It's like, you know.
Yeah, he only had 97 yards on the ground last year. And also, okay, so just so they don't come for you, he did finish 1 slot higher in 2016.
Oh, no, that was that. No, you actually was right when he was okay. So when it was I can't even say it. The football team, but not the football team days.
Yeah, the Commanders. Yeah,
dude, I'm mixing up. Just Washington, stop changing your stuff around.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how he has like. I don't see how he repeats last year. They don't have Dalvin Cook. Like, people want to say like Madison is not like this guy that is gonna just fill Cook's role like he did. He was never there. Like he's a backup running back for a reason.
And I think he's a really good one, but it's just not the same tier. You're getting like 75% of Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
But you're not getting an extra 25.
I think 65%. I'm just lower on Madison than a lot of people.
I'm good at 65 too, though. We'll take the 65.
Yeah. Number 3, Derek Carr. Just with the way the Saints run their offense, I'll let Dobbs really take this because he's a Saints fan, but just the way the Saints run their offense and like, you don't know what's going to happen with like Alvin Kamara and his suspension. Derek Carr has not been good these last couple years. He hasn't finished higher than 13 since 2016 when he finished 12th. So he only threw for 3,500 yards and 24 touchdowns last year, and he's not doing much on the ground. He's just like, if you got Derek Carr as like your number 1 quarterback, you're really scratching the bottom of the barrel.
That was me last year. My combo was literally Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. And I still made the final. So you feel my pain. Seriously. But it's like, all right, so jokes aside. And again, like you're saying, I'm a Saints fan, so I can, I'll tell you best. My biggest thing with this is really just the way we run our offense, like we're saying, it's very balanced. And the concepts weren't as down the field heavy as it was with Drew. Again, I think that might change now with that Andy Dalton's not running the scheme. But like, I don't know. I just don't really, the Saints offense isn't as fireworky as it was with Drew. It's just not intended to be that way. I think we brought in Jamal Williams for a big reason. Again, bleeding the clock. That's how the Saints are playing now. It's much more of a slow, methodical, beat you slowly, run it at your face type of style.
Yeah.
And and does that bode well for Derek Carr having numbers?
No.
To me, not really. Again, it doesn't mean we're not going to win football games because I think we're saying I still think the Saints are going to be an above average team, a division winning potentially team. But Derek Carr, I don't think his numbers are not going to be like the standalone reason.
No. Number 4, Matt Stafford. Listen, he's getting older. He's coming off an injury. And like the Rams are like in a weird spot. Like, I don't know if they think they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, the NFC is weak. But even if they do, like, I don't know what they're going to do in the run game. Like, they have Cooper Kupp, but I just don't understand like where the production comes from other than Kupp and Stafford. So you could look at that in a positive way. Like, okay, well, maybe they throw the ball 60 times a game, but like, okay, what if they're not having a winning season? You really think they're going to throw Matt Stafford to the Wolves? Like we talked about, like there's a real possibility, in my opinion, that they could pull them. They could pull them.
Absolutely. And I think also, because it got me thinking, I haven't really thought about this yet till you were saying it, but along with the Cooper Kupp point, like when that worked, when he was almost going for 2,000 yards, big thing is that core and the whole offense as a whole, you had to account for everybody,
Yeah.
which is why you can never really double team Kupp. And what made it so hard, it's like he's going to go and Kupp's going to get open or OBJ is going to get open. And you know what I'm saying? It kind of like worked so well like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just not how it is anymore. You could double team Cooper probably every single snap.
And he's coming off an ACL and he's 30.
I was going to say, and the 30 thing, it's one of those things where, again, let me be completely clear. I could be so wrong about this, and I hope I am, because I think Coop's a great player, good guy. But Coop is one of those guys where you could look back on his career and be like, he's one of those guys that might have had one of the best peaks ever, but shortest peaks ever, where now it's just might be like a fat crash. You know, like not back to reality, but, you know, not that, like that peak was all right, and it's like a roller coaster from there.
Yeah, his career was PPR 24, PPR 51, PPR 5, PPR 26, PPR 1, and then PPR 23. So it's like, I mean, like, yeah, he only played 9 games last year, but I mean, he's only had 2 top 10 finishes in his career. So you take him if you want a 30-year-old receiver coming off an ACL with a offense that you don't even know what the hell is going to go on.
I was going to say, too many people are judging him off the historic year, and it's like football is you take it year by year thing. I'm not doing the whole no, we're not doing that. It's about what just had happened, and what just had happened is what had happened. Yeah. We're not going to twin any other way. It's the ACL tear.
Number 5, Jimmy G. This is another one where it's like, okay, yeah, there's a very small chance that they have a great year on offense because of McDaniels, Josh Jacobs, if he resigns. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't, but the Raiders, I think, are capping, just like the Giants with the running back contract. But I'm not a GM, so I'm some dude in a basement on a podcast. But I mean, I think they're great running backs. Jimmy G is just like the injury history. I don't know if him and Devontae Adams are meshing. Like the Raiders, like interesting ass team, dude. I don't know. I would stay away from Jimmy G because it's like you just don't know. Like what? Like handcuff him with Aiden O'Connell.
That's something about that just sounds like it could oddly work.
Yeah.
Where it's like Aiden O'Connell pops in and this. No, that's what I'm saying is if anything, it sounds like I'm not believing in Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Aiden O'Connell's your saving grace.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, actually, you could just take that whole sentence for why Jimmy G is the guy you're not going to take, because I actually almost, it's like we're saying, it's not like I think Jimmy G's a terrible quarterback. I absolutely don't. But the Raiders just have this weird feel around them. And it's like, there's so many question marks.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G's health on top of that. And Josh McDaniels' like inability to consistently lead the team. I don't know, dude. The Raiders are a weird kind of like weird thing going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I any of these players on these this list, I would never intentionally put them on my team. Like I would never put Daniel Jones on my team. I wouldn't put Kirk Cousins on my team. Derek Carr, Matt Stafford, Jimmy G, like those are all guys that I personally am avoiding. Like if there's other options, like we talked about in our sleepers, like I'm taking Sam Howell over Carr, Stafford, and Jimmy G. Like I'm taking Anthony Richardson over Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins easily.
No, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I think, like it's just
the upside is too big.
Yeah. And the Raiders are just, again, it could really work, but I'm leaning towards it. Just the experiment, it's feeling like it's like when the beaker explodes on the chemistry counter. Like, I think we're headed towards that.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the perfect mixture. It's like you're either going to hold up and be like, that's the one. Or it's going to be like they're halfway through heating up. It's just,
like some cartoon shit where it just like explodes.
Dexter's laboratory shit.
Yeah. But those are the must Top 5 must avoid quarterbacks in fantasy.